Good morning. This is Rick Gleason and Don King. We're coming to you from the University of Washington in Seattle, and we're here with the heartbeat of worker health and safety. And thank you for joining us. We are from the OSHA Region 10 Training Center, and we've been covering Washington, Alaska, Oregon, and Idaho for the last 21 years now. So, Don, can you tell us a little bit about our special guest today?
I sure can. I first met this young lady and her husband up in Everett some years ago when we were building a dormitory for the enlisted men. And we then worked on that job. And then I again got reconnected with her and Bill down on the U-250 job. So I'd like to introduce you to Val Wrucha-Baker. And Val, why don't you tell us a little bit about how things were when you first started in the industry and how far you think they've come from a safety standpoint?
Alrighty, well, let's see. I was non-union for 13 years prior to the 25 in the union. So when I first got into the trade, women weren't really accepted at all, let alone safety. It was pretty much zilch. Throughout the years, more and more women have gotten in the trade and were a lot more accepted. Safety standards-wise, it's grown immensely. And I know sometimes people get really irritated with how much safety there is out there now. But even myself at one time. But my husband and I went back east about 3 years ago. We were at Gloucester, and we went to the Fisherman's Wharf where they have the Fisherman's Wall, I guess you would call it. I can't remember the name of it now. Anyway, it's where, like in 1960s, how many of the fishermen had died at sea, and there was like 4 or 5 walls. And then in the 70s, there was like 3 or 4 walls. And then in the 80s, it just kept getting smaller and smaller. And in the year 2005, there were only 3 names on the whole wall. And that's how they hit me the hardest. Is like, we all complain about having to dress up and do all these things, but you went from 300 people in a year to 3 in 3 decades. That was pretty amazing to me. I find that upper management is behind safety now, as to where it was just it just used to be, a smoke and mirror show. But I find sincerity in it now. They really do want you to go home safe, and the industry keeps coming up with bigger and better things, lifelines and different types of harnesses and different safety glasses, different gloves. And then before they would throw you a pair of, rubber gloves and you're on your way. And on the particular job I'm on right now, we have 5 different types of gloves that are required for 5 different types of work. And I find that amazing, and they have no problem with ordering it, having it on hand. They actually study it, which is pretty incredible. Air quality. Before, air quality was nothing. I mean, you would go down in a tunnel and bore holes out and breathe the silica and wear a little dust mask. Now you have the respirators, and you have the dustless tilty vacuums that take the dust right out of whatever you're grinding or blowing, or I don't know. Am I talking too much? I am.
No, you're doing great. Believe me, all those things you're saying is what we really hope and pray is going on out on the job site.
It's real. They really are happening. This job in particular, I'm out at the 777X out at Everett Boeing, and there is such a strong safety program out here. I'm excited. It's I pretty well do all the ordering for the safety material as far as gloves, glasses, your harnesses, the earplugs. I mean, we're even trying on different earplugs for now. I wish that, 10 years ago that was if you got a box of orange ones that float, you were supposed to be happy with that. And everybody's on board with it, so it's pretty darn impressive. And as far as, I know you guys know a little bit about women in construction, I think it's what you want to make it and how you come across to the men. If I've never had any problems, and if maybe I have a few times that if you nip it in the bud right away and you let them know the way you want to be treated, and you're going to get that respect back. I would just be upfront right away. Don't let things get out of hand or maybe where you're uncomfortable. Just nip it in the bud right away, and you move right along. So anyway, that's about all I have to say.
Well, that's you said a lot, Val.
I don't know what I talk a lot. Huh?
Well, don't you worry, we love it. So the question now is, how do you think safety people can do a better job of making safety feel good to everybody instead of painful?
I think if you had to go out and talk to somebody instead of making it sound like it's a law, is just let them know that it's working and you're here to help people. And I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I just can't see how anybody would want to turn it down if it means they're going to go home that night a little safer.
You bet. And like in those, you mentioned the 5 different pair of gloves for 5 different tasks. I mean, you had probably involved employees in all that selection and what works for them and what's the most comfortable and what's the most efficient and the most safe. And so, that probably had a lot to do with it.
We have cutlass gloves to where if you're going to be working around, say, sheet metal or razor blades or anything like that, we have a glove that's called the Cutlass 3. We have leather Kevlar sleeves for the guys that are grinding or welding. We have strictly straight leather gloves. So if you're using a screw gun, the leather gloves don't get grabbed up in the bit or anything. Like we had a guy that was wearing Maxi Flex, and the glove actually wound around the bit and got into his finger. So we found that the leather gloves worked better there. We also have pure waterproof with like a light lining inside it for the concrete guys, and the finishers to keep concrete burns and exposure to concrete, and then not the real long, black, ugly, heavy-duty ones that nobody ever wanted to wear because they were so uncomfortable. These are form-fitting. And then we also have a long-sleeved welding glove that we have out here for the guys that we have welding. So,
are you folks still managing those safety kits up there on the job where you have the water and all the things inside?
Yes,
danger
we have
tape.
stations. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the greatest things I've seen on job sites, Val. I wish all job sites would adopt that, because I can't tell you how many times people said, boy, I'll tell you, it's sure nice to go by there, and if you need something, there's earplugs in there, there's water, fresh water in there, there's a Band-Aid, and they keep it serviced. I mean, the employees can't say enough about that, and the other subcontractors.
Yeah, they've got the best masks in them. We have vinegar to keep the concrete, what's it called, like a concrete retardant kind of. We have fire extinguishers in there. Yeah, it's a really good thing to have.
It is. It's a good kit.
And everybody knows what it looks like, so they all know where to find it.
Right. Well, and I think the fact that you folks actively service it, Val, really, really makes a big difference.
I think so, too. And they definitely let you know if you're running low.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, Val, do you keep that up as the general contractor of the site, and any of the subs can utilize the equipment?
It's mostly for HSI where we're working at in our work area, but pretty much we would never discourage somebody from using it, you know what I mean? It's in areas that we're doing our work in, but usually for them, so it's subcontractors. So it's really not supposed to be for the whole job site, but that's how it ends up being. How do you tell somebody to stay out of it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they need death masks or earplugs, then you're not going to shoo them away.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Hey, how does it work? I mean, you have control of the site of the general, and but you're kind of watching out for every subcontractor, and then you have the owner up there who Boeing very committed to safety. So how does that work on a day-to-day basis?
As far as what now?
You got the owner, you got you as the general, you got all these subs, then you got all these workers. How do you control and coordinate and ensure everybody's safe? And what's a typical day?
There's a lot of every contractor out here has a safety person, and we have a full-time safety person out here, and then all the superintendents are pretty well watching it. The GFs are watching it. So just kind of everybody participates. It's a big deal.
Excellent. And that probably wasn't true 25 years ago.
No. It was just hurry and get it done. If you get hurt, you're fired. If you hit the ground, you're fired. But it's changed a lot. It's much better.
Got it.
Great.
Yeah.
So, if you were to speak to a group of young ladies just coming out of high school and they were trying to figure out what to do with their lives, what advice would you give them about going to work in construction?
What advice would I give them? Hang on for the ride. Let's see. I would say just be prepared to be open-minded. It's hard work, but it's been my career. I wouldn't change it for the world. I can imagine doing anything else. You're going to get dirty. You're going to have some days where you just want to go home, but it's definitely worth it. I don't really have the answer to that one. I would just want to go for it. If they like the outdoors or they like the physical idea of working, we definitely have a place out here. So I don't know. I mean, I see women in my oldest daughter is an electrician. My youngest daughter is a carpenter. My middle son is a finisher. My husband and I are laborers. So I don't know where there would be any limitations for any woman that wanted to get in the trade of any sort.
Well, it sounds like construction's been good to the Wrucha-Baker family.
Yeah. I started this when I was 19 years old and was just going to get till I figured out what I wanted to be when I grew up, and now I'm almost ready to retire. So
Fantastic.
And, you can't beat it. It's a very nice pay grade. You've got a pension. You have your insurance is paid for not only you but your whole family. So, especially single mothers, that's why I got into it. How do you beat that, and with no college education?
Boy, this is great, Val, and it's been excellent to be able to hear that and to see the background, where we've come from, and where we're at, and even where we're headed. So thank you so much for being our guest today. And Dawn, you got any last thoughts, comments, words of wisdom for us?
Well, I think in listening to Val talk about her work and her career, I think that the saying, "Nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm," by Ralph Waldo Emerson, just kind of sums up what Val just got through telling us about.
Absolutely. You are certainly very enthusiastic about safety, Val, and we appreciate that. Thank you to our guest, Valerie, this week. And this has been Rick Gleason and Don King coming to you from the heartbeat of worker health and safety at the University of Washington. You can always get us on the website at osha.washington.edu, and that Washington is spelled out. So thank you so much.
And to all of you out there, a great aloha.
I was young and feisty, never did things by the book. Just let me get my toolbox and I'll take myself a look. I climbed up on the dozer and with my mechanic's pride. Said, you can keep it running, friend, while I poke around inside. Shake hands with danger, meet a guy you ought to know. I used to laugh at safety, now they call me Three-Finger Joe. Though I learned a lesson, I forgot it soon enough. The nicks and burns and scratches showed the young ones I was tough. Till another morning, I was grinding on some steel. My other hand got careless and fed my skin into the wheel. Shake hands with danger, step right up and say hello. Grinding wheels and metal, I what made me Three-Finger Joe. I've seen mechanics burning, and I've seen them take a fall just to save themselves a minute, and I've seen them lose it all. I've watched them courting trouble, seen them take a chance and lose. They get careless for a moment, spend a lifetime with the blues. Shake hands with danger. Shake hands with danger. Shake hands with danger. Shake hands with danger. Shake hands with danger and some friends I used to know. Compared to them, I'm lucky to be just Three-Finger Joe.